Right now tonight at 5, thousands of Hoosiers with special needs fear that they're about to be cut off from critical therapies and support. An investigative reporter with our sister station in Indianapolis learned that a new state assessment tool in Indiana is leading to the spike in denials.
Families worry about the cuts to care for people who need these Medicaid waivers, which allow them to live at home and thrive in their communities. Sierra Putman shows us the impact.
Here's my room at the end. Pretty cool.
Johanna Laut likes collecting.
Here's my doll collection. I got 2 in here.
Her favorite doll?
Ariel's right here.
Johanna has autism and developmental delays.
Watch your step.
So at 39, she still lives at home with her parents.
She's more like a young girl. She is vulnerable in every way.
Because of her disability and the level of care she needs, Johanna received a Medicaid waiver years ago. So her family was shocked to receive this letter in June saying she was no longer eligible for the program.
Do you think it's fair that she was denied?
No, I don't, because she hasn't changed since the last assessment a year ago. Everything about her is the same. So it's the assessment that changed.
Starting in January, Indiana rolled out 3 new assessments. They determine if a person's disability is severe enough to qualify for the waiver, which provides access to additional supports. The state says the new assessments are scientifically developed and replace the old tool, which was not designed to evaluate youth and did not sufficiently capture an individual's current needs. Since that rollout, hundreds of people like Johanna started getting these denial letters.
We've probably had about 24 who've gotten to us, but we're anecdotally hearing about a lot more.
Carly Shortino-Poulter is with the ARC of Indiana, an advocacy group for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. She believes the changes are a response to a nearly $1 billion budget shortfall from 2023 involving FSSA, or the Family and Social Services Administration. In making the change, the state said the old assessment was too lenient, denying just 1% of people assessed. The ARC of Bartholomew County reported the new assessments resulted in more than 700 denials. That's about 5% of all people assessed, according to data 13 Investigates independently reviewed. Another 1,700 cases are under review, which means the denial rate could climb to 16%. The state confirmed the numbers are correct, but declined 13 Investigates' request for an interview.
Do you think this tool is rooting out fraud and abuse?
I don't. I think that it's inadvertently getting a lot of people who do qualify and who need these services.
Most of the denials impact adults like Johanna. She uses her waiver to attend a day program called Project Will. At Project Will, she receives vocational and emotional instruction as well as an opportunity to socialize.
What was the lesson about?
It's about like jobs and job readiness and stuff.
Without the waiver, the day program could cost the family about $12,000 a year.
If you lose this waiver, can you and your husband afford to keep sending her there?
No.
I think it'll kind of, I hate to say this, but it'll kind of suck. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be home all day either.
The state also sent 210 denials to children, including 8-year-old Thomas Owens.
I'm not going to cry now, but I cried for 3 days.
Thomas was diagnosed with autism. He just got off the waiver waitlist last fall after a 3-year wait. His mom says it opened up a world of therapies.
He's had these huge bursts in speech this summer. Like, it's incredible.
And you think that's because of the waiver program?
I know it is.
Hey, I want to play with you.
Okay. He's so social now. He won't up and said hi. Huh.
Did he used to do that before?
No.
Treese Wechter now believes it was a mistake to focus on Thomas's progress during his 2-hour assessment.
Do you think it properly showed what type of a child he is?
I do not think the assessment is accurately portraying Thomas or, frankly, any special needs child.
13 Investigates obtained 2 of the 3 new forms, which are filled out by a case manager. Families and advocates say they lean too heavily on yes or no questions and limit many answers to what happened during the last 3 days, leaving out nuance.
I felt like it did not show how the disability affects her life in the way it really does.
Why is that a problem if it's not showcasing that?
Well, somebody can say no. They can say, no, you don't need this.
Do you think that was the point?
Yeah.
Families also describe an opaque appeals process and say the state isn't sharing assessment results, making it hard to fight a denial.
I already filed my appeal.
So did Johanna's mom. She also sent a letter to the head of FSSA.
Asking that denials just be put on pause, on hold. You know, this assessment needs another look.
These moms want Indiana to rethink this new approach.
When you take care of the most vulnerable people, then everyone, it's better for everyone. It should not be a Democrat versus Republican issue or political at all.
And reporter Sierra Putman reached out to both FSSA and the company that created these new assessments. Neither responded to the concerns that were brought up by the families and advocates.
It's also important to note that if a family files an appeal, services remain in place during that process.